Let's put up the posters for the month. Caught Stealing. This is probably one of the most slept on films of this year so far. What you expect this movie to be at the start, well, like what it sets up, is not what this movie is by the end. It is in two different worlds. The plot is wild, but the setting is grounded. This is just like a guy caught in the middle of a shitstorm. Every single character you see on screen has a name. The neighbor, the bar owner, the gang members. It all works, again, to build this world. I'm keeping this movie vague on purpose because this movie is getting no love. Like, people need to see this movie. It's fun. It's shocking. Probably one of his best performances I've seen him in. Maybe besides Dune, but he's not really speaking much in Dune. This movie's so punk. It's sad and it's strangely upbeat, and funny. Because this movie has such an outlandish plot, there is a jump the shark moment, if that makes sense. Spoilers. It's when they shoot up the club, and it's kind of like all done off camera, and it's just like everything else has been so intimate. You know, it's like, oh, one guy's fighting another guy, or this X person gets shot, or whatever. And then for it just to kind of go up to this point of like, oh yeah, now we're just gonna kind of kill a lot of people. I'm like, oh, okay, this is I'm like, whoa, slow down. That's kind of the moment that like jumps the shark for me personally, and it does kind of remove me out of the movie a little bit. Matt Smith is also very fun in this movie. You know, he doesn't get as much screen time as you'd think, judging from the trailer, but it's still a good time. It's still fun. It's still entertaining, and it's still highly recommend. Easy 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10 out of 10. I'm strongly recommending this one for the month. We're on a banger. We're on a first one out the gate, banger. Not everything's gonna be great this month, but so next we watched Honey Don't. I'm on the fence about this movie. Yes, it's bad, but is it that bad? Yeah, it's still that bad. But like, there's parts that do work, and I have to give it points for, right? But there's also the rest of it. There is a fundamental problem with this movie, and it's the plot. You check out around the 20-minute mark, and then you never find it again, and it's like, oh boy, the comedy is the thing that does work, right? Chris Evans in this film is very fun. He's a misogynistic priest. The running gag of him having sex only to be interrupted midway through, hilarious. And his speech about all non-church members being macaroni, very fun. All the banter between each and every character is quick-witted and sarcastic and snappy. Charlie Day's character is this misogynistic ally loser. The plot is absolute mess. It is so disjointed on how the story unfolds. You are set up as the church as this like criminal underbelly that goes absolutely nowhere, and an absolute ridiculous kidnapping that like derails the entire plot, ruins what little fun overall I was having. Look, I'm gonna be a stick in the mud here, but the level of sex in this movie as well was unnecessary. Yes, in some of it it's fun, especially the ones with Chris Evans. Every person is way too horned up. A very shock gimmick. It's like, oh, like, wow, I can't believe you showed that on camera too. Oh, this is now uncomfortable. Like, oh, Margaret Qualley, she was great in Substance. She's actually a very good actor. She just needs something, like, she's stuck at the moment, and I want her to be in more interesting things than kind of just using her as like sex appeal. There was parts in this movie where I was like, yeah, you're doing a good job, and then she's naked. I'm like, oh man. It's maybe like a 4. I'm being generous. The comedy and the fact that it's so short is maybe it's a 3. Yeah, but the plot is not it, Chief. The plot is not it. All right, next one. Chief, very crinkly. So now we move on to The Roses. Holy shit! Like, I was excited to see this movie, but did not expect to enjoy it so much. The tension is like masterfully done from start to finish. You can see the roots, the foundation of this couple as it slowly begins to like erode by life. And it's funny at times, but heartbreaking all at the same time. This movie is like an hour and 40 minutes long, and I wish it was longer. All these characters feel real, and the chemistry is very much there. There is like arguably a person in the right here, because just because we spend more time with the majority of that person in the film. From Benedict Cumberbatch's point of view, but you can never really side with him or Olivia Colman either. This movie touches on everything. The ending is the only issue I take with this movie. And really, it's like a non-issue, but the resolution could have been a bit more poetic. They have said so much up to this point, as like this movie's like very wordy. All the dialogue is full of venom, but not hatred. Oh, you've got a small penis, and it's like not like you've got a small penis. It's like, haha, we're all joking, kind of, maybe, I don't know. Why did you zoom? I've got a new camera, can't you tell? Hopefully it looks nice, but sorry, I'm playing with my camera. I would say this movie is just kind of, yeah, I just accept that as the ending. That's just me though. Again, it's very much a non-issue. I absolutely love the movie from start to finish. I don't know. It just felt like a very real film. You know, for all its goofy and over the top moments, it's very entertaining and fun, but also very sad. I'm over here. Hello. My camera's tweaking. Hold up. Fight or flight. Next one, we had Fight or Flight. This is how you do dumb action films. Bullet Train, aka Fight or Flight, is dumb, brutal action wrapped up in the thinnest plot. Light spoilers here. When you're watching the film, you think it's going to be like this like overarching mystery to find the person on the plane that they're looking for. But our main character spots them immediately, like within the first like 5 minutes on this plane. I'm not even kidding. And I was like, am I annoyed by that? You know, like as I was watching, I was like, am I annoyed by that? That kind of like underdid their whole mystery. But the rest of the film kind of plays out very fun and very stupid, just over the top action film. So I'm like not super annoyed, but it is annoying, right? Because all I wanted from this film was the action to be tight, which is all it is. It's just tight action the whole movie. And that's because you are in one location, so you don't have like big open fields. You know, you have very much just they are on a plane, very confined space. Good luck. It's such an easy slam dunk. There's a scene where he gets like wicked high and then just goes crazy. There's a bathroom fight scene in the first class lounge. It's good. Your villain is this like slightly older like woman, and she's giving like dominatrix vibes. She's giving like good boy, you know. Like every time she was speaking, I was like thinking, you know, you're gonna like praise one of the other main characters, and the villain and Josh Hartnett are meant to have like this like relationship. I'm like, oh, so Josh Hartnett in this movie like slightly older women would step on you kind of vibe. Anyway, the movie's like monster trucks and energy drinks. The movie, it's very like nonsense fun. Again, all your well choreographed, hyper violent like fight scenes are fun. But as soon as they kick that plot down the road, it loses a lot of steam. I don't know what more I have to say about this movie. This movie's fun. It's very much like an easy win with your dad. Anyway, it's 7, and that's just because the plot's pretty weak. But you know, you can all have a laugh with it, so it's fine. Next movie. Lesbian Space Princess. Don't let this title, if you're like instantly like, ooh, don't let that title put you off. It is arguably one of the funniest films I've seen this year. Look, and that's coming from this guy, you know? Like pasty, white boy, straight man. Yes, it's Australian, so you have to get over like the Australian accent that's in here, but they're not like hamming it up like other movies. It's Australian made, so the Australian accents just kind of exist. The humor, the visuals are what carry this movie. Like the overarching plot's kind of fine. You can tell like something like this is inspired by like Adventure Time. You know, they start off as quite cringe, especially in this one. It's like a little bit like on the cringier side, and then it like becomes part of the plot, and you know, and then it doubles down and it becomes quite funny. If you like the styling of like Auntie Donna, like the comedy group, you know, there's characters that they play in this movie that are by far very, very funny. There's so many references and jokes, both visual and spoken, that I'm sure I missed. There's a whole Twilight sad sequence ripped straight from Twilight 2, which is the worst one, that my partner noticed. And then when she told me, I was like, that's so funny. Why is it in here? And then we were just giggling the whole time, you know? Again, this title may turn some people off. I genuinely recommend this film. I was talking about this film with a couple of friends of mine who have also seen it. It was like, yeah, the movie didn't bash, man. Yes, the villains of this movie are the straight white malians, but it's not like all men or whatever. It's very tastefully done, in my opinion. It's fun. It's very fun. The movie is just funny, and which is very hard for a comedy nowadays to just be funny. Arguably, probably going to be one of the best comedy films I've seen this year, and that's like, again, whole earnest. I'm saying that with my chest. It's just a good time. All right, next poster. That's on back to front. Whatever. You can tell by the poster, it's Bad Guys 2. Now we went from probably the best adult animated comedy to probably one of the best kids animated comedies. Bad Guys 2, absolute banger of a kids film. I'm saying that again, just whole chest. If you've seen the first one, in my opinion, this one is better. I I don't know what to tell you. The first 10 minutes there's like a car chase scene. It just sets it up immediately. It has Busta Rhymes in it for some reason. I'm like, I didn't even know Busta Rhymes still made music. And like off rip, it's just like fun. The like it's a very fluid animated style. It's made by the same guys who made Puss in Boots, The Last Wish a couple years back. Super stylistic and like clear. The story has twists and turns I didn't expect, which is hard for a kids film. It's very hard for a kids film. This movie has a large cast of characters, and pretty much every character has a moment to shine and is important. There is like no filler character. Yes, and the wolf is hot. Okay, don't be weird. And yes, there's a couple of poop and fart jokes that I'm like, but you know, every kid film has a poop and a fart joke. The villain's goals was probably a little bit on the sillier side, like very Saturday morning cartoon kind of vibes. But in the end, that's what this movie is. Really, it's just a good kids film. I don't know what to tell you. That these guys have been cooking some kids films, and it's so fun. Again, I think I've glazed this film enough. It's an easily like an 8 or a 9. It's maybe a tad long for a kid's film. That's probably my only issue, but more of this film is not a bad thing because it's just, wow, chef's kiss for a film. Oh yeah, also Aquafina was in that. She's not bad, but you know, just have a little footnote. Tone shift. I mean, look, this movie sucked. I don't know what to tell you. I think also just all the Conjuring films should be served with like white bread and water. Like they're so nothing. All of them. Every single one of them. They all suck. I just don't know how this is a $1 billion franchise anymore. Anyway, let's talk about Conjuring: The Last Rites. It's so long for no reason. They fuck about playing ping pong and having birthdays and weddings for the first hour and 20 minutes. Meanwhile, the fucking smells are getting their house trolled by some fucking ghost. This movie really boiled my blood. It just, all the jump scares are like, boo. Like, it's so bad. And that's the entire scares throughout the entire film. It's like, I don't remember putting that poster there. And then they turn around, the poster's gone. And I'm like, fuck off. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's so, like, if this movie ever did jump scare me, I was upset. I wasn't like, oh, I'm so terrified. I'm actually like, oh, I'm actually mad that you're being that lazy. I hate it. I hate it so much. Being is like scary is the easiest emotion to get out of anyone. You know, you do one of these for a while, and then you don't break eye contact, and then and that's not that bad. That's how you can do that. That was probably scarier than anything in that bloody fucking water film. Ice chips and raw potatoes need to be served with that movie. It was bad. I hated this movie so much. I have maybe like the shortest little paragraph, and the more I'm talking about this, the more I'm getting annoyed by this movie. Okay, if you had like a horror bingo card, right, and you put all the horror cliches on this, it hits bingo 3 times over. You've got creepy dolls. It's the most cliche movie ever, and I don't care about how, like, this is based on a true story and this thing really happened. Fuck off. I don't care. The movie sucks. I don't care. Our main guy, I don't know. Do you really think I know the guy's name? Anyway, our main guy is like nerfed by having like bad heart disease, and I'm like, it's so stupid. I hate it so much. Anyway, it's got, okay, ready. This is everything that, like, most of the things that are in this movie, and I'm like, whatever. Okay, we got creepy attic, creepy basement, creepy doll, creepy music box, creepy nursery rhymes that fend off the fucking devil, haunted mirrors, Axeman, blood, like a lot of blood for no reason, creepy hands. The cinema I went to was packed, and looking back at the crowd, I was upset to see people with hands covering their eyes, and I'm just like, and then, like, the loud screams. Do I just not get it? Am I wrong? Am I dumb? Maybe am I too much of a cynic? No, this movie's bad. And it's lazy. And it's like baby's first horror film. Again, light spoilers. The lady's wearing a wedding dress, and she's in this like creepy mirror room. Again, put that on the bingo card. And a ghost gets under her dress, and it slowly peeks her head up and goes, "Boo! And I'm like, what in the haunted maze? Like, what are we doing? It's so bad. And then hands start touching her face. I'm like, whatever. Again, you're a $1 billion franchise and you're resorting to like, the 15-year-old in the carnival kind of horror. It's so lazy. It's a waste of 2.5 hours. It's like an easy 1 out of 10. If you like this movie, happy birthday, Timmy. You know, happy 10th birthday, Timmy. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have a poster, obviously. So I have acquired the standee. Animated films, we're at the peak, and then we watched a shitty horror film, and now we're at the peak again, watching The Long Walk, which is arguably the craziest thriller I have seen all year, and I mean that with my whole chest. Thriller. The Long Walk is brutal. It's intense. This movie is like, in my opinion, top 5 Stephen King like movies. I hate it. It's just bad. Is in the Shawshank Conversation, right? I can see the influence the story had on other properties, and you can tell the director of The Long Walk is also the one who did all the Hunger Games. Same sort of premise. Like, if you haven't seen The Long Walk, it's essentially game show, teenagers, long walk, last one like still walking wins, and the other ones get executed on TV. It's sick and it's twisted, and it's like, how do you bring about change within the system without effectively trying to destroy the system? This movie is heartbreaking, and it comes down to the chemistry, that the camaraderie. You and the characters both know that there will only be one winner, but yet you hold hope that people will survive. It is gross. You see people pooing, like, which is not something I thought I was going to say, and not something I thought I was going to see, It's probably the first time I've seen it on camera. I can admit that I shed a tear. And you get towards the ending, I just sunk into my chair, and I was just like, oh no, oh no. you know, People say this movie feels kind of hollow for its ending, but I personally did not. I would have loved to see more people in cities watching from like their TVs cheering this messed up game. But besides that, I enjoy this movie like a lot. It's an easy recommendation. It's probably the best thriller I've seen this year. It's like a 9 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. It might not be as intense on a second watch because you know what's going to happen. But, that's just like a lot of things. Once you know what's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? All right, 2 more. Man, we go from like some of the highest highs to the lowest valleys, Big, bold, beautiful journey. Fun fact, right? It was made for around like $45 million, and like worldwide currently it's made about $14 million, and it should have been 13, it should have been 10, it should have been $5 million. This movie sucked. A lot of the leads have like no chemistry. Like, the plot makes no sense. It is trying to be profound and insightful, and it just ends up being confusing and borderline incoherent. It's such an inconsistent tone, starting off with like a car dealership that like hoists both characters into this like journey. That was funny, and it's like weirdly like it's got like a HAL 3000 computer in there. But the rest of the film is full of like melodrama and how shit both characters think they are for 2 hours. I don't want to hurt you. I'm a doormat, and I would let you hurt me. That back and forth the entire time. I have no parents. I'm a bad person. It's just really annoying. The chemistry, the cinematography is fun, but there's just like nothing behind it. It's just being pretty. Like, it's the same issue I have with Avatar 2. It looks pretty. It's a screen. Maybe it's got good screensaver material in there. But besides that, there's nothing in here. This movie has them like time jumping through their lives, and this movie would have benefited from having younger actors, because it becomes confusing and cringe and hard to watch. Colin Firth, aka Bullseye, aka the playing a 15-year-old theater kid, but as an adult. I'm just like, maybe in a different format this movie would have worked, but it's also the accents are bad. And there's just so much wrong with this film. Nothing stuck with this movie besides sometimes it's pretty. It's probably arguably the worst film I've seen this year because it's given me nothing. It's giving like I've never left a film watching it for 2 hours just being like, that movie was nothing. It was Air, the movie. It's 0 out of 10. Go see it for yourself if you want. Don't. Floating head poster. Are we back to peak? You know, we've went all the way through this month. But are we back to peak? Okay, look, I'm not a huge Paul Thomas Anderson fan. I like his movies, but I'm not like a super glazer, right? All movies should be judged independently, regardless of like what your track record is, just because that's just how all art should be consumed. Anyway, this movie, one battle after another, is fun and interesting and challenging and strange and long, but it is engaging. For like the whole movie, I never felt bored. There are so many moving pieces that sometimes you forget the movement of the story. That is going to be like the one issue I have with this film. There is so much happening that, you know, you can spend like 20 minutes and you don't see what the bad guy's up to until, you know, again, 20 minutes later. And then it's just like, oh, the bad guy's here. You know, it's a little bit of that. And I don't know if that's a pacing issue. You follow characters for a little bit too long, and then you kind of pick them up, and then it's staggered, and it's a little bit disjointed. And that is like the thing that I have, like my big issue with this movie. But the first 20 minutes are fun and wild and sexy and confusing, and it's awesome. It's great. All the performances are probably some of the performances that they've, like, some of their best performances. Leo's performance is very good. Sean Paul's performance, he probably will win the Oscar for supporting actor. I can't see why he wouldn't, which is weird to say because Homeboy pops a massive erection. I will not explain anymore. Go see this movie. It's fun. Yeah, look, maybe my issues with like the staggerness of the story is me not being locked in enough, and I think that's also because of this movie it was mismarketed heavy. You know, if you watch trailer A and trailer B, one is like this weird like comedy and the other one's this weird serious drama in it, and the movie is a mix of the both. There's a lot that's funny and there's a lot that's like very serious and like, you know, tense. And you know, it's the trailers don't that as a complete package. At the end of the day, the story is like has heavy political undertones, which is fine and fun and dynamic. And your score is one of the sellout moments of this movie. Like, visually very pretty, don't get me wrong, but your score is the thing that like is awesome. I think like it's all dynamically made. It's like, you know, the movie is there and then the music was made on top of it to add to the movie, not, you know, let's just put a pop song underneath. I'm not saying that you know that this movie does that, but it's like, oh, we are making the score to the movie that already exists. So there's a brilliant chase sequence that's just like, you know, very simple in just scope, but it's so much crazier because the music is so dynamically made when things go wrong, and it's great. The score of this film is something that is the standout moment of this film. I just have like random notes on this film. I think also it's weird that the villain gets a second death. I like that Christmas is part of the clan. Don't get me wrong, this movie is fun, but it is 3 hours, almost 3 hours long. For me personally, look, it's like an 8 out of 10, right? I'm not saying this movie is bad. I'm just saying go and watch it and have your own opinion, because I feel like my opinion is, I think everyone has said my opinion is quite wrong. So, that's fine. Maybe I have to rewatch it. This may be one that I have to actually rewatch and be like, okay, I am wrong, because I feel like there is something I missed in this movie the first time. But it's great. They deserve all the Oscar noms. Leo deserves it. The score deserves it. The cinematography deserves it. Paul Thomas Anderson deserves it. Sean Paul deserves it. Like, the movie's good, right? So anyway, this has been The Wall. If you haven't seen the rest of these, like, I do these monthly with all the movies I've seen. So that's been September. All the movies I've seen at September. We're getting into like Oscar, you know, baity territory now. So there's a bunch of fucking biopics that I'm not excited for, but I'll go see, you know. Bunch of biopics. Tron. October is going to be a weird month for movies, and I hate it. I hate Avatar 2 so much. But, you know, if you want to see me crash out about all these films next month, make sure to like, subscribe, do the thing. Go see Lesbian Space Princess. The movie just fucking rocks. All right, well, until next month. Thank you so much. We do videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we also do streams, but they're all games and stuff. I want to do some more like ranty videos where I talk about movies and stuff because I like movies. But that's beside the point. If you guys want to see that, let me know. All right, ciao, ciao, yo. Bye bye. See ya.